Alright, welcome everyone to a video about 5 games that I absolutely recommend. 5 games that I think you would enjoy and that you should be playing. So here we go. Here are the 5 games I have. These are in no particular order. These are just games that I've played that I've really enjoyed and I think you would enjoy too. So first on the list is an atmospheric puzzle horror game called Inmost. Now this game is a horror game, but there is more to it than that. It's got a very dark, gloomy atmosphere. You play as 3 different characters: a young girl you start off as, and then you play as an older man, and then a warrior, and you alternate between the 3 characters. And the thing about this horror game is there's a story behind it. There's something behind that is going to really hit you in the feels. You're really going to get somewhat emotional over this story because of just how it's laid out, how it's portrayed, and when you get to the ending and find out exactly what's going on, exactly what this is all about, you will really enjoy how it ends. You'll enjoy your experience. It's not your traditional horror game to where it's like dark, scary, and ends in a very horrific way, but it does something so much different and, in my opinion, so much better. And I think you will really enjoy this. It is a bit short. It's not a very long game. So if you can get this game, get it on sale if at all possible. And if you're looking to buy this game, it is available on Switch and on PC as well if you'd like to play it. And next on the list is The Vagrant. Now, this game surprised me, I have to say. This game really shocked me as to how good it was, honestly. So this game is a Metroidvania, and the art style and the side-scrolling kind of platforming that you do is very Odin Sphere inspired. So if you played Odin Sphere, if you enjoyed the look of that game, you will appreciate this game. Body proportions are a bit exaggerated, both on men and women, but it's really part of the fun of this game. As you progress in the game, there is a skill web that you will actually have to go through. You collect these gems that are actually referred to as mana, and this mana is used to upgrade your character on this massive skill web. You'll have to find certain items to progress further, but as you get further in the game, you do find them pretty easily, and then you can progress further. So it kind of prevents you from becoming too powerful, but overall, it's a really fun, easy to control game. The map is a bit basic, not quite the same as many Metroidvanias. Sometimes can be a little hard to figure out, but not too bad. Gameplay is very solid. You have attack, you have special attacks, you have a dodge that actually makes you avoid damage. The boss fights later on in the game can get very challenging, including some that you have to do in order to get the true ending, but again, it's doable. The dodge and the mechanics and how smooth it controls makes it possible. Boss fights are satisfying. Story, it's interesting. It's not the absolute best story, but at least keeps you engaged. It kind of makes you wonder what's going to happen. So it does a decent job there. Also has a new game plus. Some of the endings will require you to do new game plus to actually beat bosses. One in particular that you're supposed to lose to. But you can do that. You can play it again as your uber powerful character with all your gear and just breeze through the game and just enjoy it as well. This is one that I do highly recommend. Available on Switch and PC if you're looking to pick this up. Next is a game called Viviet, and when it comes to horror games, like Five Nights at Freddy's, the whole jump scare thing, this is not that kind of game. There's no jump scares in this game. This game is about tension. You wake up in the hospital where you are now being interviewed by detectives. So you wake up like after everything in the game has taken place, and then your character is retelling what took place in the game, which does make it kind of funny when you die because the character's telling the story and it's like, and then I died. So yeah, that makes it kind of funny. But he's telling the story about how he and his friends and his sister were in this mansion and trying to summon this ghost because it's supposed to be haunted. and then something happens, and now your sister seems possessed and trying to kill you. And she is a constant threat throughout the entire game. You only feel safe when outside the mansion, where some puzzle solving does take place outside the mansion, but most of the puzzle solving and most of the things you'll have to do take place in the mansion, and she can show up pretty much anywhere in that mansion and start chasing you and try to kill you. There'll be times you'll be hiding, having to turn off your lantern to avoid getting killed. The puzzles do take a bit of thinking, but they're not too difficult. And there are plenty of walkthroughs in case you do get stuck. The game is also very tense and will make you question if you're really ever safe anywhere. It's a wonderful horror experience. I do recommend this. This is a true horror game with multiple endings. You will have to play through this more than once because you'll likely mess up something in your first playthrough not knowing what you did wrong. So definitely will take a second playthrough to get the best ending, but it's worth it. This game is, again, also available Switch and PC. So if you're looking to pick this up, that is how you can play this game, and I suggest that you do, especially if you're a fan of horror games. And of course, this list would not be complete if I didn't include one of my favorite Metroidvania games of all time, Touhou Luna Nights. This is absolutely one of my favorite games. It's a Metroidvania with characters from the Touhou bullet hell shooter series. So what more can I say? You play as Sakya, a time-stopping, knife-throwing maid. You basically have bullet hell boss fights that are all characters from the Touhou series. That should sell it right there. But then the gameplay is so wonderful. It's so fast-paced while requiring a level of precision so you don't kill yourself, because that is pretty easy to do in this game. The music has classic Touhou soundtracks that are amazing, like each character has their Touhou song in the game. So all the bosses have that character's song as the boss fight music, and it's just wonderful. You will find yourself wanting to listen to the music. I found myself wanting to. I've been looking up the songs and listening to them. The battle system, the combat system, basically your main attack and all your special attacks all use your MP, which is limited. It does recharge over time slowly. It has the graze system from the Touhou games, and the graze system is where an enemy kind of brushes past you, just grazes you. You just miss getting hit by an enemy or by a projectile, and doing so will help replenish your HP and MP. So you're going to want to take advantage of the graze system. So use this system to your advantage, especially during boss fights. Don't try to just plow and go fast through a boss fight because you'll run out of MP and find yourself stuck. I'm not a huge fan of bullet hells, but I love this game. I love the boss fights. I love going through the boss rush at the end when you beat it. You'll beat this game once. It'll unlock a new area with a new ending and new boss fights. This is probably about 9 hours to fully complete and get everything. Shorter if you're just kind of going through and playing it, but if you're looking to get every little thing in the game, yeah, about 9 hours. And then you have a boss rush mode, which you can fight bosses. There are achievements if you want to try to beat the bosses as fast as possible. Leveling up in this game, you do gain levels, but it doesn't do a whole lot for your character, so you do collect gems, which will slightly boost your character, but again, you never really are to the point where you're so overpowered that you can just plow through boss fights. I mean, you really have to make sure you position yourself, you learn the patterns of attacks, you know where to put yourself to take advantage of that graze. Definitely must play. I really enjoy this game. I think you will too. Available on Switch, Xbox, and PC as well. And then finally, we have a game. If you're a cat lover and you like Metroid, well, this will be the game for you. I'd call this a Metroidvania, but it's really more Metroid than Vania. You play as a cat in a robot suit, sometimes in a submarine, and you're exploring a station on, I believe, a planet, and you find these strange creatures. And you're exploring because your human has crash landed and stuck in their ship, so you're the only one that can actually explore for them, which is kind of comedic and kind of cute because he's talking to the cat, and the cat just meows back, and he doesn't really know if the cat's understanding, but you're controlling the cat and you have to do what the human asks you to do to progress. The game isn't very long, but the boss fights are very challenging, so it does make it a little bit longer because you'll be trying over and over again to try to beat the boss fights, to learn how to beat the boss fights. But this, gameplay wise, is very fun. It's an enjoyable time as far as this gameplay. The black and white look to this game is very unique and actually gives it kind of a really cool look. It did make some of the enemies that were attached to like the ground where you're walking a little difficult for me to notice initially. So I would occasionally walk into an enemy that was attached to the ground and be like, oh, I got hurt because I couldn't see the enemy. But at the same time, it still works. It gives the game a very unique and kind of a cool look. You can get collectibles in the game's collectibles in secret areas, and the collectibles will actually make you be able to change the colors of the screen. So the two colors will be different depending on what you select and what you've unlocked. So fun gameplay, dialogue will entertain you throughout the game. One I do recommend you play. It's available on Switch, Xbox, and PC. But thank you so much for watching this. Usual YouTube stuff, of course. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment if you want to, dislike if you didn't like the video. But in either case, I do appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay awesome, and we will see you then.